So we're excited to have Digital Map Products as our next presenters. They'll be showcasing their LandVision application. DMP is a 2008 winner of one of our CREtech Real Estate Tech Awards, the REIT as we call them, in geospacing and mapping category. So we're excited to have them joining us today. With that said, I'd like to turn it over to Jason Holt and Jesse Golombeski. Jason, it's all yours.
Great. Thank you, Bethany, for the introduction, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm excited to be here today to demo our real estate application, LandVision, and share with you why over 20,000 real estate professionals rely on it to research properties and markets a little faster. One second, please. I'm having trouble advancing my slide. There we are. Wanted to start today by letting you get to know the two people you'll be hearing from. On your left, I'm Jason Holt. I'm a product evangelist here at Digital Map Products. And on your right, you'll have Jesse Golombeski, who's one of our sales representatives. I'm really fortunate to have Jesse joining me today. Some of the biggest names in the industry, including the folks you see on screen, are already using LandVision to identify off-market opportunities and win more deals. We're also an affinity program provider for CCIM Institute, so if you happen to be a CCIM member and you're interested in learning a little more about what that means for you, contact us after the demo and we'll let you know. Right out of the box, LandVision is going to come preloaded with over 300 property and tax attributes tied to parcel boundaries. That means that you're going to be able to research properties across the country and pull up information like what you see on the left-hand side. Additionally, we have several location insights that are available through our layers feature, which Jesse will walk you through in a few minutes. You can see a few of them on the screen on your right-hand side. On top of that, one of the things that makes LandVision unique is that it's extensible. And what we mean by that, we're going to say it a lot today, is that you can import any of your own data and view it alongside our property information and our location insights, so you can do all of your research within a single application. LandVision is also going to give you the ability to identify property owners, generate thorough site profile reports, and so much more. One last thing I'd like to mention about the product. If you're a developer or you're building a proprietary tool and you're in need of property or location data, much of the information that we're going to showcase today is available for licensing. So if that's something that interests you, again, just contact us and we'll get you set up with the information you need. Before we get started, we've also got a special offer for everybody who's on the call today. If you reach out to us at either the email address or the phone number listed on your screen right now, and you mentioned CREtech Demo Day, we're going to set you up with a free trial of LandVision. One final bit of housekeeping, and it looks like everybody's been kind of doing this the same way this morning. We want to be able to show you as much as possible about the application today. We are going to do a live demo. With that in mind, if you have any questions during the presentation about something you see on screen or something that pops into your head, go ahead and ask it in the chat window or use the Q&A feature. But I also ask that you provide your email address along with your question. That way, if we can't get back to you by the end of the demo, we can send you a personalized response. So, with no further ado, I'm going to turn things over to Jesse and let him start walking you through LandVision. Jesse?
Thanks for the introduction, Jason. Again, thank you all for joining us today to walk through the LandVision platform. Like he mentioned, please keep in mind that this is a shortened version of our normal demo. Since you all have unique use cases, it can be helpful to see our system on a more specific basis. If you'd like more in-depth walkthrough, please reach out to us and you get a chance, and we'll set up a free personalized demo. So I'm actually going to share my screen, so just give me a moment here. All right, so welcome to LandVision. The first thing I want to point out that this is a browser-based tool. You can actually go into full screen mode as well, but just want to prove that this is actually built. No, you can use it on Chrome or any kind of browser you're in. My agenda for today is to do an overview of the platform. All right, sorry, we had a technical difficulty there. So I just wanted to give you a general overview of the platform, do some search basics with you, and then walk you through our layers functions. So first off, you're going to do a basic search just to orient you a little bit. You see up in the top left here, you have a browser bar, a search bar, flanked by these green boxes. Really straightforward. If you type in an address, you type in an APN number, you can start to auto-populate that search bar. The next two buttons I like to point out that we'll camp on today are the search button just to the right of that search bar, and then the layers button. So if you click this search bar, it's going to give you the ability to customize a search. You can drill really far down into different data that you're looking for, build out customized searches that you might want to use. We'll be sticking to the property search today, but you can actually get a lot more granular if you need to. And then the layers menu. So Jason mentioned this, but LandVision is extensible. We give you the ability to import your own data and actually utilize data within here. So I'll show you guys how to pull in spreadsheets or shape files that you might have in a minute, but just kind of wanted to orient you a little bit, mention that these will be the layers that we'll be using today. I'm actually going to go to Denver. We'll be located in Denver today, but this is a nationwide platform, so you can see that we can go pretty much anywhere we want. All right. So I'm going to do a basic property search just to get started here. So let's say, for example, we're looking for a multifamily with a square footage of 1,100 to 2,500 or so. And you can customize these categories as well. As you can see, there's a lot more in-depth information, but just for this example, we'll apply that filter. And you can see LandVision is already picking up a couple of locations. These are going to be showcased in green parcel. And as we zoom in, it drills down our search results from the category up here. Now, these parcels probably look familiar. You've probably seen them on Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, all those types. They use our parcel information. And if I zoom out a little bit, wanted to mention too, you can add the functionality around lists building in LandVision is pretty great. You can add these all to a list and then manage them down below. We'll dive into this in a minute too, but you can save this list right out to CSV as well. So you can really leverage systems and workflows that you're already utilizing into this platform as well. I wanted to pick one address that we can kind of camp on today. So we've actually selected 133-1 East Colfax. And off to the left, you can see this property card has come up. So this is going to give you a really in-depth view of the property. We have over 300 standardized attributes in here. Right off the bat, one that's really great is that you can measure the perimeter, look at area, just by clicking this hyperlink here. And you can see a very in-depth look at the property right off the bat. And you can also kind of peruse an area if you like as well, if you wanted to look at other locations around here. And then we can do overlays. One thing I like to point out right off the bat is that you can do a site profile report for this location. So all you really have to do is click Site Profile Report in the location box off to the right there. And this is going to allow you to customize different facets of this report. So you can customize demographics information, look at drive time. You can add or subtract different sections of this report and then generate it. And this will take about 40 seconds. And it's a very in-depth look of all this information that we actually just compiled. So it's building up in the top right there. And it's finished. So as you can see, very straightforward. It's got a nice overview of the location. And then it dives into a lot more in-depth information about the owner, the site information, property details. You can see legal descriptions, last market sale. And this took us all of 45 seconds to build. So you can see any properties you're looking at, it's all you can eat. There's no limit to the amount of reports you can build in LandVision. So you can customize how these look. You can customize how they look for your clients, or if you wanted to disseminate them internally. You can see you can adjust these oblique views. Got some different regional maps. You've also got a flood map report right into this report. You can see 100-year and 500-year zones. Obviously, we're not in any. This is also an overlay, so I'll show you this when we get to our layers menu. but really straightforward. And then we dive into the demographics. So I've customized this demographics search to be a 1, a 2, and a 3-mile radius. So it's going to be a lot of information here, but as you can see, you can also do this by drive time if you needed to. But it's going to go into male, female, rural, urban, population by year. You can get very, very specific about what you're looking for here. Growth rates, income, all that. Crime statistics, there's a lot here. And like I mentioned, that took us a few seconds to build, and you can do it for the one next door if you wanted to as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed out the speed there, Jesse. A lot of the features that we've built into LandVision for commercial use are geared around that speed of access. Anybody who's been in the commercial real estate space for a long time knows the time and oftentimes the cost associated with going out to county assessor offices to research properties, having to go into the field to make site visits on properties that just aren't going to work for your clients. All of this can be done within seconds, and then deeper analysis of the area like Jesse's going to get into in a minute here, total of minutes.
Yeah, great point. And I also wanted to mention one thing that's great about LandVision is our ownership portfolio. So similar to the site profile report, this is actually going to build out a list of all of the locations associated with this owner's taxable address. So you can see you've got a list down below. You can also customize these different fields. There's over 80 different fields that you can add into this list. You can also pull this straight out to Excel as a CSV. Really, really easily allows you to, build listing functions, kind of pierce the corporate veil. As you can see, there are a few different LLCs, and you can see if it's owner occupied or not as well, just off to the right there. So very, very large capability just from that feature alone. I'm actually going to jump back into our Colfax address and go down through some of the layers. So I'm just going to minimize this list, and then I'm also going to show you guys the layers menu. So we'll pull that up. Right off the bat, I wanted to mention that, like we said in the beginning, LandVision is extensible, so you can actually add in different shape files that you might be looking at. We can just name this one test. So I've already loaded in the Denver zoning, so I'm going to leave that here, but it's really easy. You just have the shape file, and then you add it in, and it pulls into the system, and then that turns into our zoning layer. So you can see here I've got zoning for Denver. This will be very colorful, but if you ever wanted to see the key that you're looking for, you can actually click this triangle, the black triangle off to the right on the layers menu, and you see it has the actual zoning categories, and this comes directly from the county. And if you zoom out a bit, it gives you a little better picture, but something that's also great about LandVision is you can see as I'm mousing over some of these areas, it's giving me the name of the zone and selecting it. So if I wanted to utilize this search area to only drill down to this location, I can just say search area, and it'll be what we call an inclusion. So this will only pull properties within this inclusion. And in a similar way, you can actually exclude areas as well. So if you wanted to say, build out a 1 mile radius within this location in Denver here, you can go add circle. We'll just call it a test. And we'll say a 1 mile radius and say, okay. And you can place this where you want. And then that's an inclusion. So if you wanted to exclude this zoning layer and then include within this 1 mile radius from the location, you can see how that's very easy. You can drill down to specific locations, figure out what you're trying to do. Makes it really functional. And another note on extensibility is that you can also pull in a list of addresses. So a lot of clients ask, hey, I have this list of properties that I'm working with that I want to pull into LandVision. So in the exact same functionality, you can pull in a spreadsheet that you might have. We actually have a couple of examples. I think we already have this in here, but let's kind of show you guys what it looks like. You can name the layers. So we'll just say the Denver sample up here, and you can see the different listings you can pull in. If you have addresses or lat long, you can just pull that in. So you'd say create, and I think I've added this up here, so I'm just going to turn it on and show you. So I'll turn on our Denver sample, and you can see I've customized the logos here. So you can pull in a logo if you have a client that wants to see their properties, or you kind of want to showcase a few locations. Really easy to change the styling. You can see, you can drill down to those, build out a heat map from there as well. So to keep drilling down through our layers menu, Standard out of the box, you've got a lot of information that comes with LandVision. First off, I want to touch on our traffic labels. So you can see this comes directly from the Department of Transportation. So you see a lot of these little blue numbers. Those are actually the average daily traffic count. And if you needed to search by this, you'd go into the exact same functionality as we did before, but you'd select traffic search. So really easy. You can kind of drill down, make sure you're in the right locations. You can search by number of lanes, road types, that kind of thing. Makes it really easy to find, something that's off the beaten path or something that's high traffic. And then to keep moving along, you can see we have demographics here as well. If you wanted to do an overlay of a certain demographic zone, you can see that. I'm going to turn off our sample information. And just as I mentioned before, if you wanted to utilize one of these demographic block groups as a search area, you can do that as well, really easy. Household income, population density. And you can see if you mouse over, it's going to say population is 1692, 1693. And if you pull up the information on that census block group, it's going to show you a lot of the same information that we saw in the site profile report, but for this census block category that we're seeing. Now, one thing we get a lot of compliments on, and I'm actually very proud of, is our points of interest major brands. So I'm going to throw this on, and I'm going to remove our search here and dive a little bit deeper. So this is pretty amazing. It'll give you the ability to see all of the retail locations within a certain region, and this, you can also customize this to be something that, if you're looking for a specific industry, if you only wanted to search for, 7-Eleven, something like that, it'll actually show you just those tenants, and you can do a specific points of interest search, and it will show you just these major brands that you're looking for. You can select just coffee shops or something like that. You can also be a lot more specific, look at the NAICS code or the SIC code. You can put on official name. I've had a lot of clients request, very specific retailers or clients, and you can actually build out a really nice heat map of what they're looking at. So, the value add here is that you can see what's growing, what's up and coming, where people are going to be growing, where the industry is going, that kind of thing. And also, one thing to note is that the tenant information will bring up a similar property card, but it's going to have tenant information as far as, sales data, employee count, and then actually a phone number for the tenant themselves. And then similarly, but not the top 500 major brands, you're going to see our points of interest layer. This is going to bring up a lot of other information as far as points of interest. So smaller locations, different schools, that kind of thing. And you can see these different icons here listed out.
Yeah, so we have close to 17 million points of interest nationwide. So as Jesse mentioned, there's the bigger brands all the way down to the mom and pop shops available within your market as needed.
Yeah, that's a great point. Also wanted to mention that we can pull in utility information. As you can see on the layers menu here, I have Texas pipelines. If you guys had a utility information or some kind of a shapefile that you wanted to import into LandVision, very easy to pull it in, just like we did earlier with the zoning file. Makes it really easy to see what you're looking at as far as utility is concerned. You can add, I think I have railroad information as well in here. You can see the rail lines as well. So this is all information that's openly available. Makes it really easy to visualize inside our platform. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is we also have a layer for opportunity zones. So really hot topic right now. This will allow you to show the opportunity zones within a region. You can also drill down to the property card level, and it will indicate whether or not it is in an opportunity zone, the actual.
There they are. There's your opportunity zones.
Oh, there we go. And I'm actually going to turn off our points of interest.
Yeah, as Jesse mentioned, we know that a lot of the commercial clients that you're working with either are working in opportunity zones or are in conversations with investors about working in opportunity zones, or at least need to be knowledgeable of where those are within their territories. And so what Jesse's about to show you here is the ability to search for properties directly within those opportunity zones so that you have that information readily available when your clients come calling for it.
Yep, that's a great point. So you can see here the areas indicated in green, similar to a census block group. These are going to be searchable, so if you click those, it'll actually give you a little information on what that actual opportunity zone is all about, but then you can make this a search area as well, customize square footage of a location you're looking for, and then if you actually dive into the parcel, it will give you information on that as well, so you can see it's in an opportunity zone. One other thing I wanted to mention is we also have wetlands and DFIRM information, the FEMA flood map, which is updated on a nightly basis, and then Superfund and brownfield zones. So you'll see these demarked on the map with green and red indicators, and you can click these and get information on them as well. Really takes the guesswork out of if you're going into a location or not. I know we covered a lot of ground today. One of the things as we kind of come to the Q&A section is wanted to mention that we like to tout that we support you as a client. A lot of people ask us about adoptability, that kind of thing. We have a tremendous customer success team here. If you go up to this help button, you can see we have a support and resource center that is second to none. You have access to a great CSM team that wants to make sure you have success. We give trainings on a bi-weekly basis, sometimes daily. Our entire team wants to make sure that our clients are very successful and that there's no questions. So great documentation, just kind of wanted to mention that. And then the other thing as well is that we also have mobile app compatibility along with this desktop version. So in the App Store, just go and download it. There's great field applications within that. You can be in the field and add voice memos, add pictures. LandVision is collaborative, so if you wanted to share certain elements with your team, you can go across different departments. You can see that you can build out mapping functionality. You can do all kinds of different, kind of customize it to your workflows, like I mentioned. And I think with that, I'll throw it back to you, Jason.
Great, thanks, Jesse. I'm going to pause just a second longer to finish typing an answer to a question in the chat window. Again, thank you everybody who has provided a question already. It looks like they've largely been related to kind of individual use cases, so I'll continue to answer those in a one-off basis. Please continue to ask them if you've got them. We do have a couple of questions that we get a lot that I wanted to have Jesse get into as well, since it looks like we have a few minutes here at the end. Jesse, would you be willing to explain a little bit about how our pricing and our coverage works?
Yeah, absolutely. So really straightforward. Pricing is going to depend on a couple of things. First off, the number of users, and then secondly, the level of coverage you need. If you're going to be working in one market, you can get a license that will just cover the metro statistical area and your location. You can also go to a state level, and then we also have nationwide access. So this means you only have to pay for the amount of data that you need. If you need more down the road, we can facilitate that if you need to expand your coverage.
Great. I have a question here, and I don't want to slow things down too much by typing it, so I'll go ahead and answer it. Tom, it looks like you asked if we're already on the CCIM application. We're an affinity program provider, so if you're a CCIM member and you log into your member portal, you'll find us with the other affinity program providers. It's a separate offering. Jesse, can you, I've been talking about our onboarding process a little bit and answering some of these questions in the Q&A tab. Can you talk about our onboarding? How quick do we get people up and running, and what kind of comes along with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So great question again. We get it a lot. So how do I get on board? How do I start doing what I saw today? Really straightforward. You can pretty much come on as soon as possible. It's really simple to get your account created, oftentimes the next business day. Essentially, once you have an account, we can be up and running in terms of performing these kinds of searches that we've shown you. And if you need to, have help or need more resources, we're always available, like I mentioned. But really, as soon as you're ready, we're ready. And you can be on LandVision in a few minutes.
Great, thanks, Jesse. I have a question here that I think will have more of a general application. So I'll type a specific answer to you, Alex, but Jesse, we have a question kind of about how often our data is updated. And I was hoping that you could go back to our test property and show them the About This Data feature while I go ahead and finish typing this answer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. So within any of the parcels that you click within LandVision, if you ever wanted to know, hey, this is great, but how do I know if this is accurate or not? If you scroll all the way to the bottom of this property card, you're going to see a section at the very bottom that says about the data. It's going to give you information on where it's from. Obviously, we're in Denver, so that's pretty straightforward. But it's going to say when the parcel boundaries were updated, when the tax roll was last imported, the earliest transaction, and then the most recent transaction. So you can see really specific about the level of data that you can have. And like I said, this is for every location within LandVision. So if you wanted to know what you're looking at, makes it really straightforward.
Awesome. Please bear with me for a second, folks. And again, keep the questions coming if you have them. I'm just wrapping up an answer in the text box. Jesse, while I wait to see if anybody else has any questions, what is our data coverage?
Oh yeah, that's a great question too. So our data coverage, we have about 95% of the United States covered as far as parcels. So we have, every property in the U.S. almost there. There's over 3,000 counties that we cover as well. So you get a lot of coverage for what LandVision has.
Yeah, I know I got our latest coverage report earlier this week. We're in over 3,000 counties in the United States at this point in time. I believe that there's a total of 3,100 nationwide. So our data covers about 99% of the population, and the other points that Jesse just stated.
Also, one thing I'll mention too, we mentioned having a customized demo. So a lot of times this can be really helpful for you to see in a location that you know. So I do this on a daily basis. I pull clients through, a market that's maybe difficult for them to reach out to or break into, or maybe they're new to town or trying to, work by coastal, something like that. LandVision really helps you, leverage the size of your team to do that. And we can show you in a demo how, I'm working in Denver this morning, but if this afternoon I wanted to work in New York, I can just hop over there, or Chicago or Florida, all over.
Great, thanks, Jesse. Are there any more questions related to things that we can show you today, or anything that we can touch on to give you a little more information?
Jason, this is Bethany. I'd love for you guys to cover the special promotion you guys got going on and how people can take advantage of that again, if they missed it at the beginning.
Sure, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and kick Jesse off of the screen share then, and I'll throw that information back up on the screen. Okay, you should be seeing my PowerPoint again. I've advanced one too far. There we go. So just as a reminder, Jesse mentioned we're happy to do more personalized demos if you would like to see this in your market. It's my understanding that this recorded demo will also be emailed out to everyone that's on the presentation today, so you should all have a copy of this quick walkthrough. To touch again on the offer that we have for everybody who joined us today, and again, thank you so much for joining us. If you contact us at either the email address or the phone number that are on screen by the end of this week and mention that you were at CREtech Demo Day, we're going to set you up with a free trial. So, it's one thing for us to jump on a webinar and kind of walk you through our preloaded demo, but we want you to be able to get your hands on, dig in, and in your specific territory and see how this could really help transform your workflows. So please reach out to us at sales@digmap.com or 888-322-6277. If you need to remember that, that's 888-322-MAPS. Really clever, I know. And then I'm just going to quickly cycle back. And if you want to talk to either Jesse or I specifically, those are our email addresses right there. And the eagle-eyed among us will notice that I have the sales line as my phone number. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Thank you, Jason and Jesse and Digital Map Products. We really appreciate everything. This was a really great and interesting presentation. So give us all a second as we kind of head on over to our next presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Bethany.
Thank you.